Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's story is about something every parent fears, when the people you love most start seeing you as a wallet instead of family. My name's Helen, and I'm 71 years old. I've lived long enough to know that money can change people, but I never thought it would change my own son. For most of my life, it was just me and him, David. His father passed away when he was 10, and I raised him on my own, working double shifts as a nurse. I saved every penny, built a comfortable life, and invested smartly over the years. By the time I retired, I had more than enough. 2 homes, a strong portfolio, and a decent fortune in the bank. But I never flaunted it. My plan was simple: to leave everything to David one day. After all, he was my only child, my pride, my reason for everything. But as years went by, something in him changed. Maybe it was greed, maybe it was the people around him. I still don't know. But my kind, respectful son slowly turned into someone else. It began subtly, small comments like, "Mom, you should let me handle your bills," or "It's risky for you to manage your own investments at your age." I brushed it off, thinking he was just being protective. But protection soon turned into control. One day, I went to pay a bill online, and my account access was denied. When I called the bank, they told me my son had requested new online credentials under his management authority. My name was still there, but he had power of attorney over all transactions. My heart sank. I never signed that, at least not knowingly. Later, I found out that one of the held documents he'd asked me to sign months earlier had a small paragraph giving him temporary financial control for emergencies. When I confronted him, he didn't even look guilty. He just said, "Mom, I'm trying to protect your assets. You could be scammed or make a mistake. It's better this way." The tone wasn't loving. It was cold, rehearsed. That night, I sat alone in my living room, staring at the family photos on the wall, and realized my son didn't trust me anymore. Or worse, he didn't see me as his mother. He saw me as an account number. Days turned into weeks. I couldn't buy anything without his approval. When I tried to withdraw cash, he'd question me. "What for?" "Who's it for?" It was humiliating. I was a prisoner in my own life, financially dependent on the son I'd sacrificed everything for. But I didn't argue. I played along, because while he was busy controlling me, I was quietly planning something he'd never see coming. You see, I wasn't just a nurse. I was also smart with numbers. Decades of managing patient funds, insurance forms, and estates had taught me how the financial system really works. So I called my lawyer, an old friend named Charles, who'd helped me with my late husband's will years ago. I told him everything. He chuckled softly and said, "Helen, you're wiser than he realizes. Let's fix this." For the next month, I pretended to be forgetful, frail. Even let David believe I didn't understand what he was doing. He moved money, sold one of my small properties, and transferred the proceeds into an account he managed. I said nothing. But behind the scenes, Charles and I were restructuring everything. I had several accounts, some David didn't know about, old savings pension funds, and one offshore investment that had quietly grown into several million. Charles helped me move those assets into a living trust, one that would activate under my name, but with a successive beneficiary that wasn't David. Instead, I listed a community hospital, the orphanage I'd once worked with, and a young woman named Emily, who was the daughter of my late best friend, a girl I'd always seen as the daughter I never had. It was my silent plan, my real legacy. Then the twist came. One morning, David stormed into my house. Furious. "Why did you close the accounts?" he shouted. I blinked, pretending not to understand. "Closed? Oh, dear. Maybe the bank made a mistake." He slammed papers on the table. "Don't play games, Mum." I checked. The main accounts are empty. "Where's the money?" I looked at him calmly and said, "Safe?" He glared at me, his voice shaking with anger. "You've lost your mind. You're being manipulated. I'm your son. I deserve to know where it is." I leaned back and smiled. "Deserve? No, David. You were my son. But lately you've acted like my warden." He froze, his mouth open, unsure how to respond. I continued, Do you remember what I told you when your father died? That love is built on trust, not control. You broke that. He tried to intimidate me, threaten legal action, even accuse Charles of fraud. But every account had been legally transferred, with notarized approval, backed by medical witnesses confirming my full awareness. He had no claim. None. The final blow came weeks later, when I invited him over for tea. He came reluctantly, probably hoping I'd change my mind. I poured him a cup, slid an envelope across the table, and said, "You might want to read this." Inside was a letter, a simple note stating that upon my death, he would inherit a small sum, enough to live comfortably, but nothing compared to what he'd tried to seize. He looked up, his face pale. "You can't do this," he whispered. "I already did," I said softly. "You want to control David. Now you have none." He left without another word. That was the last time we truly spoke. It's been a year since then. I still live in my home, surrounded by peace. No arguments, no guilt, just quiet strength. I rebuilt my will around kindness, not bloodlines. The hospital wing that will bear my name breaks ground next spring, and Emily calls me every week to check in, just like a real daughter would. Sometimes I still think about David. I pray for him. I hope one day he understands that greed ruins love faster than anything. But if he doesn't, well, my legacy will remind him forever that a mother's heart may forgive, but it never forgets. So yeah, my son tried to control my money. But when he discovered what I quietly planned, it was already too late. Thanks for listening, everyone. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, never underestimate quiet people. Sometimes silence isn't weakness. It's strategy.